Hungary and Slovakia, July 8, 2025.
Hány sárkor esett szép, meg minden.
Kész.
Viszi a palánkot, bakker! Azt a kurva élet!
A powerful storm brought unimaginable chaos to many parts of Hungary and Slovakia at the same time. The storm started to hit from July 7th to the present, July 8th, 2025, where many buildings were destroyed, trees fell onto the road, and vehicles were affected by strong winds and hail. Even now, the storm is getting wider, and the damage is getting worse everywhere. It makes people scared because the storm disaster keeps coming and destroying everything around it. In Hungary, hurricane-force wind gusts of 130 kilometers per hour were recorded in the eastern basin of Lake Balaton, near Balatonfüred, and in some places nationwide, 137 kilometers per hour. As a result of the storm, 2,200 firefighting operations were required across the country by early evening. Most of the damage occurred in Bács-Kiskun, Bécs, Szangrad-Szánad, Hajdú-Bihar, Pest and Veszprém counties, as well as in Budapest. Firefighters primarily removed trees that had fallen onto roads, buildings, cars and rails. Damage control work was ongoing at hundreds of locations, even into the evening. A brutal storm hit Lake Balaton. In Balatonfüred, one of the most popular promenades was completely washed away, trees fell and sailboats on the water capsized. The storm warnings were issued for several counties on Monday. The cold front caused a slight cooling of the air after the intense heat, but this was accompanied by heavy rain and stormy winds. It hit several cities, including Balatonfüred, with great force. Many people was on the scene when the devastating rain arrived. The storm broke with strong winds and a lot of precipitation, in just a few minutes. At first, only thick clouds appeared in the sky, then shortly after it started to rain, and the wind was not afraid to show its strength.
Nyírmaden vagyunk, Szabolcs megye, mozgassa nagyon a palákat.
In Szangrad-Szánad, around 400 emergency calls were received, mainly from the Hódmezővásárhely and Szeged areas. Fallen trees and broken branches disrupted traffic in several places in Szeged. Significant damage was also caused in Fejér County. A tree fell on the railway tracks in Székesfehérvár, tearing off the overhead wire, while the wind tore off roofs in Adani and Kásárhegyi. A stubble fire broke out on the M7 motorway between Szabadbádian and Székesfehérvár, after a broken high-voltage wire caused a fire, and the tensioning wire cable fell onto the roadway. The damage assessment is ongoing, and according to their accounts, they were not the only ones who suffered badly in the sudden storm. As reported, Monday's storm chain raged in Sopak and also worse. The stormy winds knocked down trees, raged on beaches, and the fierce thunderstorm also showed its strength in Tuscany on Lake Balaton. The storm caused extremely serious damage to almost all main railway lines in the country. Trees were uprooted, man-sized branches blocked the tracks or tore off the overhead wires. Rainwater washed away the track, and several trains collided with fallen trees. Resolving the disruptions will not be quick. The MA with Acute V group asks passengers to plan their trip by Volunbus and not by train on Tuesday, or if possible, to avoid traveling anywhere trees fallen due to strong winds are making traffic difficult in several districts of the capital. The intense thunderstorm activity also affected Liszt Ferenc International Airport, so much so that according to Budapest Airport, the runways were closed for safety reasons due to debris falling on them, and the airport was temporarily shut down.
Egyelőre még jobb bajnak van. Látod, nem?
Most látom.
Világ kicsit még egy videó.
MVM specialists are also working to restore the severe storm damage. Due to hurricane-force winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour in many places in the country, and the sudden heavy rainfall and hail in some places, trees and broken branches falling on the electrical network caused power lines to be cut in many places. As a result, power was lost in a total of 150,000 addresses, but by the evening, power had been restored in 64,000 addresses. Meanwhile, water supply is disrupted in several settlements in Pest County. By Monday afternoon, firefighters had been alerted to more than 2,200 locations in Transdanubia, typically removing trees that had fallen on fences and buildings. The highest level of alert is in effect in the Tisanto region. Ships on the Tisan have also escaped. Minister of Construction and Transport János Lazar said that today is one of the most difficult days in the history of MA with Acute V. All means of transport and tracks have been affected. At the moment, there is no main railway line in Hungary that has not been damaged, and the obstacles will be removed here first. The storm even battered the burger joint of the year. In Slovakia, an extremely strong storm hit Gelnica early Monday evening. The wind tore off roofs, broke trees, and ultimately forced the declaration of a state of emergency. The most serious incident took place in one of the housing estates, where the wind effortlessly tore off the roof of an apartment building. Residents were left in shock when the metal roofing lifted before their eyes and flew several meters away from the building. The incident is also captured in a video that is currently circulating on social networks, and is shocking in its intensity. The storm rolled into Gelnica as part of a strong storm system that moved in from southern Slovakia in the afternoon. These storms organized into supercell structures that were accompanied by very strong winds, gusts exceeding 90 kilometers per hour, and even bow echoes, causing widespread damage. The wind was the most destructive in Gelnica. In addition to the torn-off roof, it also damaged other buildings, including the roof of the kindergarten, which was significantly damaged. In several places, trees fell on roads and vehicles, leading to traffic jams. Some sections were completely impassable, with professional and volunteer firefighters responding. In Košice, the wind tore off roofs. In Prešov, trees fell on cars and the city's trolleybus service was out of order. Trees were downed on several sections of roads, causing complete impassability, for example, between Bydovce and Kosiki Klesinov. The situation will continue to develop in the coming hours. The storm system has moved to Poland, but storms are still occurring in the districts of Snina, Humen, Sobrince, Mykolaiv, and Medzelaborsk. The city of Gelnica has declared a state of emergency and convened a crisis team, which is meeting at the ice rink. The team's task is to coordinate rescue efforts, provide assistance to residents, and assess the extent of the damage. The local government has also urged citizens to document the damage in their area and share photos and information that can help with the overall assessment of the situation. The full extent of the damage is still unknown.